Welcome back to the channels, folks. Thanks for tuning in. On today's episode, let's not waste time. We got a lot to achieve, we got engine mounts to build, and we got the rear end to finish. So let's get to it. It's going us, folks. So I did some marks. I had to give myself enough buffer, 7-inch. I'm gonna cut 2 pieces of 7-inch length and start working on the engine mounts. Well, there goes. Homemade. Nothing complex. Same concept as the rear end of the buggy. Make sure it doesn't tip over or strengthen the bottom. And that should give me enough leverage so I can lift the engine up in the air, position it where it needs to be, and then do the final engine mounts for the engine. So let's not waste some time, let's get to it. So initial mock-up done. Everything's grinded, ready to be tacked. And let's have some fun for a few seconds. now that the top engine mounts are done, let's remove the engine hoist and start working on the lower ones. Woo! What's up, guys? So the top engine mounts are done. So now we're working on the bottom end, and as you guys could see, what I have achieved so far is I managed to give it a bit of an angle so that I clear there's a gap here in between those, because if it was a straight pipe it would have been too close, and I would like to give it a bit more wiggle. I would like to move the engine a bit more back again, just this tip over here, so I could give it a bit more angled. Rear engine mount. Initial setup that I have created, which I am disgusted by it. So I have to find a clever way to make this happen, because there's ugly and then there's this, which is not ugly, it's just not as pretty as it could be. So let's try to find a workaround and try to make that prettier. Here it goes, folks. I think I designed it, and we'll do one full piece of metal that will hook into both of the rear engine mounts. And what that plate will do basically is it will just hide the tubing that'll be underneath, because I don't think a sheet metal is strong enough. Maybe it is, but I like to overkill instead of underkill. So I'll add the square tubing here still on the inside, and this plate, at least from the outside, won't show everything because it's covering all the square tubing. I think it's a great idea. I'll go ahead and mark it down, and we'll start cutting it. Do 2 of them and round it up, make it pretty, and then start fabricating it, because that's has to be done by today. Anyways, guys, catch you soon. It's tacked in place. So more I look at it, I like it. So that's it. It's looking damn good. Love it. So that's the way it's gonna stay. Feel free to leave a comment if you don't. I love it. Here it goes, guys. So the rear engine mount is now completed, as you guys could see. It looks good. And now that's it for the engine mounts. We can focus on the rest of the roll cage, at least in the rear end. And got some fresh tubing today that came in. Let's start cutting and bending those tubes. So guys, setup is ready again. Continue on notching some tubes so that we can get the rear end settled. So that's what I'm gonna be the main focus now. Let's get notching, folks. So I was able to notch the 2 back end tubes over here towards the cross beam, and I just kind of make my mark over here how to properly bring this pipe in over here. And how you measure it, a good trick is you measure from there, you put the pipe where it needs to go, and then you measure the gap, and you just in a pipe cut, so as you push the tube forward it should come flush out. That's one of the things. I ran into an issue. My bends are good, however the radius on my tube bender, the one that my friend lended to me, is not big enough. So what happens is when I try to do like a 90-degree on this tube, it kind of kinks the tube. So you can see over here, that's an example. The tube is all kinked. It's useless, so can't do anything with it no more. Good for the garbage, but anyways, that's what happens. So the radius is really important because the radius will play an impact on with the wall thickness of your tube, how much you could go for. Here goes, guys. I was able to create a lower section of the buggy rear end. Rear engine mount has also been relocated. All the nuts are all perfect. Took my time, you know. Everything is perfect. It's a tight gap everywhere, as you can see. I had to relocate the engine mount because what happened was that the sprocket was in line with the frame, so I had to move the entire engine about 2 inches to the right. So it's no longer centered. However, the sprocket comes down in a perfect angle now in the empty, so I'll be able to put any type of any size of sprocket and it won't hit into anything. I have the entire rear end for it, so that's good. And so keep on working. Now we'll try to finish the top end of the tube. There it goes, guys. This is the rear end, what it looks like so far. I think it looks really good, really sexy. I like how the end ends flat. That'll give a lot of possibilities for fine-tuning it. So I really like how everything came up finally. And I was struggling a bit with the tube bender, but I think if we take a step back, we look at it, it looks damn good. So, yep. Hey guys, hope you had fun watching the video. I know I'm trying to test something else, adding some talks in between phases so that it's not just music playing in the background. I actually can explain what I'm doing in my mindset. Don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. If you like this type of content, leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I've been trying to post a video a week, and so that's all I got for you guys for this week. We accomplished a lot. The engine is holding on its own. We got the rear end of the buggy completed. So now I'm going to be focusing on for the next video on the rear tables. And that will be like the main focus for the rear end. Finish the rear end properly. Once I have the tables in with the spindles and stuff, I'll be able to put wheels. I'll look at the rear end of the buggy, make it look how I want it. And then we'll move on to the front spindles and tables. So all I have. So once again, thanks for tuning in to Santos Custom. If you like, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next week. Booyah!